All right, so I thought I'd make a quick little product video. I ordered this a couple months ago, and I just have not had time to try it out or do anything. But a buddy of mine was trying to use my spare fuel jug. I have two of these strapped to the roof of my Razor over the back seat, and these are just Rotopacks, roll packs. And if you've never used their products, you should. They don't leak, they work really well, and I highly recommend them. If you want a good tank, I mean, it's good to carry spare fuel where we go, and if you're going to carry a spare gasoline tank, you want to make sure it doesn't leak. And these things have been tried and true tanks for me for over, I think, 12 years now. So I really like them. There's just one Achilles heel with these tanks, and that's the fill valve. I don't know if you've ever used these wonderful valves, but basically this goes inside there, and when you're done, you're going to see something like this. Well, you've got to be a bit of a magician. You've got to turn this valve here, and then you need to push down with the tank. Let me reposition this and I'll see if I can't show this a little bit better. Alright, so what you see here is you've got this little red lock, and this collar would be down, and you would tighten it down to your can. And once that's in place, what you've got to do is you've got to turn this like this, and then you've got to take this and pretend this is your fill valve. You've got to push this down like that. And then fuel will go, and to show it in a better way, you're doing this. And this is allowing this to open, which allows fuel to go in your tank. Well, I don't know about you, but this doesn't work really well on the trail. It doesn't really work well right here on the bench. It's kind of a pain in the butt. And this isn't any fault of Rotopacks or roll packs or really any fuel can maker. They're just following the rules. This is what our government says is safe. And I will say this does not leak. And if I knock it over and it's closed, it's not going to leak, but it had a lid on it. I don't understand what they're worried about, unless they're worried about somebody leaving the little cap off the top. I mean, the old ones had the cap on the top, and you could leave that and knock it over, I guess. But spare tanks like this, or carry fuel, we're never doing that. Ever. I don't understand that. So, again, roll packs, any of these companies making these cans, they're just following the rules. But this is a joke. I hate them. So I found a product that I think is going to be great, but I haven't really opened them, so we're going to find out together. Okay, so this is the company that sent me this. I know it's Ai13 Billet Products. They're out of Utah, and this is what they sent me. I'll open it up. I have literally not opened them. I just cut open the package, but we've got two rings. What these rings for, I believe, are supposed to go in there. And you can see this one does not fit. The gas can is too thick. So I'm not sure why I ordered these, or if they're supposed to fit. I know I'm not modifying this tank because it works, and I'm not going to deal with that. But so strike one. That's not great. But I ordered these. I could have measured the diameter. I didn't. So it is what it is. All right. So we've got some other stuff here. I'm actually going to set you guys down. Okay, so this is kind of what we've got here. Got 2 collars, 2 caps, and 2 fill nozzles. So this looks promising. So I guess in theory, what we've got is we've got something like this. Well, one, when you're going to put it in the tank, it's going to look something like this. So I don't know if you can see that, but we'll take this, we'll put this in here, like so. Oh, hold on a second. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. There we go. We want that to seal. Okay. Got that guy in there. And then we're going to take this guy and we're going to tighten it up. So there it is, completely closed. Awesome. So now we'll see how this goes. I guess in theory we're not going to need this guy. This will go off. We're just going to need this guy and this guy like this. And we're actually going to see if we can't put some of this fuel in the razor, see how it goes. Alright, so we got this flexible nozzle on there now. And they do make a cap that screws into here, by the way. That's threaded. They make the cap. I don't need them. I would never leave this like this on my machine. And I only use these tanks, you know, on my machine as spare fuel. So that's all it is. But this is this year's fuel. I'm going to try and dump this in the tank or dump it somewhere because I don't need it in there anymore. All right, took the cap off. I'm kind of curious how the vent's going to work on this thing, but I guess we'll figure it out. Wow. Way easier than the other one. I don't know as my machine's going to take all this. Nope. She was full. But, success. I would say what I'm going to try next is I'm going to close the cap, get the lid on it, and see if I can shake it, build up some pressure, and see if she leaks. So we'll try that next. Alright, back on the bench here. We're going to try and remove this cap and put it into storage. Kind of show you what that looks like, but unscrews, simple enough. Take this nozzle, we're going to put this in like this. You see you get a nice rubber washer there. Put the cap back in. Thread this on. I mean, I guess in theory this isn't really utilizing the teeth, which I don't really like that, but I will say that was kind of a pain in the butt, but we'll see how this works. It seems like a pretty good seal. I'm not seeing anything that would cause it to leak or anything like that. Trying to build up some pressure here. It's right over the foam. Absolutely no leak so far. I've had this one going upside down and shook for, I don't know, maybe a half hour or so. No, more like 15 minutes, but I'll report back here. I got some other things to do in the shop. We'll see if it leaks at all while we're kind of recording what we're talking about in the shop here. So again, it's Ai13 Billet Products. These things weren't cheap. I mean, that's billet aluminum. They're made in the USA, custom made for this type of nozzle. Again, I'm not quite sure why these rings don't work. Well, I know why they don't work. This diameter is larger than the diameter in the roll packs, but I don't want to drill out the diameter of the roll packs. Number one, it's super thick. It's like over 1/8 of an inch thick. And there's absolutely no reason to mess with that. It's work great. It's stiff. I actually got these. Thought they'd be a good idea from my snowmobile days. We used to put these in the oil tanks because the oil reservoir would kind of disform as you were tightening it, and you'd put these inside and it would keep that circle so everything kept sealed up. So I'm like, oh, I'll get those. But I never measured anything or anything like that. That's not really on them at all. I just thought they were a good idea from past experience, and turns out I didn't really need them, so not a big deal. But anyway, again, Ai13 Billet Products. Couple of caps. They appear to be not leaking at all, so I'm pretty happy with them. We'll do a quick little walk around the razor here. I've had a couple of people ask me what I'm going to do for maintenance this year, so we'll kind of go through and talk about that. So we run through the mud quite a bit when we ride and do a bunch of climbing. So I guess we'll start front to back and kind of go from there. We're gonna flush the entire coolant system. I got some AMSOIL coolant. We're gonna replace all of that, and we're gonna try and do it right. I've got a Mishimoto vacuum pump. We're gonna try and use that to suck all the coolant in and all the air out, because I don't need any air in there. So we'll try that. We're gonna change the front diff oil. Obviously that's way in there. The drain for that's over on the other side, but it's not leaking. There's no problems, but I service that annually. The shocks are not due this year. Those shocks are brand new from Shock Therapy. They've got 1 season on them, so we'll ride next year, and then they'll go back to Shock Therapy to get reserviced there. Just did the brakes last season with new pads and brake fluid and whatnot. So I don't think I'm going to need to do too much there, but we will check them and probably clean and lubricate the calipers just to make sure they're, moving correctly. We are replacing the front tires this year. The tires don't look too bad, but we cut enough tires in our rides. I don't mind having some spares, so we've got 4 new 32-inch Roxillas that'll go on there. Going to the back of the unit here, we're going to change the trans fluid. We'll take apart the clutch, completely clean that clutch, retune it, which is essentially just making sure everything is moving freely and working well. We'll swap out the belt. The belt's got a little bit of time on it as well. If I didn't say it already, we'll change that trans fluid. We're going to pull the baffles out of the muffler and repack it with fresh packing. Check the rear brakes. Change the engine oil. Drain the catch can. Change the air filter out. I know for some reason my S&B airbox stopped running. I can't hear the fan when I turn on the machine, so I've obviously messed up the wiring somewhere for that, so we'll take care of that. Other than that, we'll obviously replace these rear tires as well. They're not horrible, but they're about half gone. It's about time. And that's about it. I mean, it's very routine, minimal maintenance. I'll be done in a weekend, I would imagine. Obviously, we'll have to grease up the carrier bearings and make sure this thing's just ready to rock and roll, but there isn't a whole lot that needs to be done. Kind of everywhere we've ridden in Hatfield McCoys in the last couple years. Put some clear film over it because, yeah, you power wash it, you start losing stickers. I wanted to leave them on there till I could get some new ones, but I don't know, just one of those things. Those that have asked, this is our dog setup. Basically, you've got this thick 1-inch foam pad. It goes off to the front, so if Jack hits the front, it's in the back here, as well as on the bottom. And then we just regular old Amazon hammock for the dog. Tie him in here. This is more for Linda and I's safety. The goofball likes to jump into the front seat while we're driving sometimes. He is a 115-pound lab, so believe it or not, he can and will jump in there. We get a little fan up here for the dogs. This is just where we store Jack's dishes when we're in travel mode or transport mode, if you will. Over here, this is actually Abby Lou's bed or basket. This is the little Yorkinese, and I mean, she basically just rides in that basket. It's strapped down right there. That's just a homemade little wood harness that I made. And it locks into the front bar there. Again, a little wood harness. But it's going on 3 seasons, no problem. And she just hooks down to a little catch down there, to a little body harness, so she's snugged in tight. I don't mind the whips. That's just, you know, where they are, again, in transport mode. And up here is where my tanks will go. I store them up here. They're above my head and the dog's head. Everybody had a conniption when I had them over the engine compartment, which I get it. But in all the years I've had roll packs, they've never leaked. And it's never been an issue, but we put them in here, make everybody happy. It is safer, I'll give you that. So we do that, and that's fine. I don't think I have to do too much in here, which is nice. Everything's just kind of working. We got our fan and our radio speakers up there. Our tablet goes there. Just had to replace the windshield wiper motor. That filled up with water and shorted out, but she's good to go now. And the rest of this is in really good shape. I will, when I pull the wheels off the machine and jack it up, we'll check the bearings and all that. But they're all were replaced last year. They should be just fine. We'll check the A-arms and the trailing arms in the rear as well. Do a quick little down and dirty alignment. Make sure everything's working there. But I don't expect any issues there. I'll check my ball joints as well, see if there's any play. That's always a really good idea to check that. And it's easier once you get the machine jacked up in the air, and you can maneuver the wheels and check your ball joints for slop. So I will check that. Other than that, it's pretty cut and dry. I mean, this thing runs like a top. I think we got like 2,700 miles on it. Really love the machine. Love the width of the machine. We're still technically a 64-inch machine. I think with our wheels on, it jumped to a 65-inch wide. What nobody will tell you is the minute you put weight on the machine, it goes from a 65 to like a 68. But we're still plenty narrow for the trails. I know some of the 72-inch wide machines, I'd love to pick up a 2-seater Pro R, but where we ride, it would have been an issue a couple of times, and it's even, I think, tough to get trail passes. I don't know if you can register Pro Rs for trail use in Wisconsin or not. I've heard you can't. I've heard you can. That's something I'd need to look into, but the DNR is definitely, looking into that stuff. But anyway, that's kind of what we're going to roll into on this machine this winter, getting it ready to go. Check back over here to these fuel tanks. I still don't see any leaks whatsoever. No drips, nothing. So I'd say, again, big shout out to Ai13 Products. You hit a home run with these caps. They look great. And the nozzles are way better than these pieces of junk. Huge shout out to Rotopacks and Ropax. I love your tanks. Matter of fact, I've got spare water jugs and stuff over there. Don't bother looking at that stuff. But I've got spare water jugs. I went to a square one on the back now. I guess I can show you that real quick. We don't use the roll packs in the back. We use a traditional square one. We fill that with water, and that goes right underneath there on the razor, and that's to keep the dogs hydrated. So, all right, guys. Well, that's going to wrap up this video. It's a short and sweet one, but hope you liked it. Take care and have a great day. Thanks for watching. All right, so here's a quick shot of the fuel tanks back in their cradles there. Straighten out my fan here. I do have to turn the fan to get them in, but those are the Rotopacks mounts for the roll packs. I suppose there's other ways to do it. I don't know why you would want to be honest with you. Those things hold great. They look good. I don't think they're... I mean, they're not a bargain by any means, but it's not like they're ripping you off at all. So I really like them. But yeah, absolutely no drips. And highly recommend the Ai13 nozzles. This is not sponsored. They didn't send me any of this stuff. I paid for all of it. I just like to pass on a little tip if you're looking for something to, bypass that nozzle. There's obviously way better options that are, less expensive that do the same thing, because this is not an inexpensive product. I think these are like 75-80 bucks a cap and nozzle set, if you will. I know they got some sales going on, and you could look out for those. I'm not trying to sell you anything other than the product works. It's expensive, but you got to know what you're buying. This is not some cheap plastic. This is billet solid aluminum with good seals. I don't think it's overpriced at all. I'd like to see it a little cheaper, but hell, I don't know what it takes to make that product, so I'm not going to complain. So again, if you're looking for a solution like this, go for it. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.